So, good afternoon, everyone. My name's Jesse Hildebrand, and welcome to another exciting edition of Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. For those who don't know, Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants is all about bringing conservation, adventure, and science into classrooms around the world. Today, we're joined by 3 classes live from North America, and 2 more might be coming in a bit later. I'm going to give them a chance to do a bit of a shout-out. So first, we've got Miss Riley's class from Gulfport, California. Hi. We've got Mr. Vandershoot's class from Forest, Ontario. So much enthusiasm. And then we've got Miss Hall's class from Mount Airy, North Carolina.
Hello.
Hello. All right. So, of course, there they are. There's the enthusiasm. All right. So the reason everyone's here today is from Mark Robinson. When we all batten down the hatches and hide during storms, he runs headlong into them. He actually had to cancel his first hangout with us to go cover a hurricane, and today is going to leave to cover snow up north in Ontario. He does 2 shows, Storm Hunters and Unearthed, for the Weather Network, and generally is a fan of all things inclement weather. So thanks so much for being with us here today, Mark, and take it away.
No problem. Thanks, guys. Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm actually a meteorologist. A meteorologist TV show host here at the Weather Network in Canada. I'm also, and this is where I get to tell all my accomplishments, I'm a fellow of the Canadian Geographic Society, which means I explore all over the place. And I'm going to show you guys a little bit about what I do. Now, I may have to, as I said, I may have to make this fairly quick today because I do actually have to go and do my job, which is go and chase storms today. So we're actually chasing the first snow in Ontario. Got a few centimeters for the Canadians. And if anybody's in Orangeville, I'm headed past and up to Orangeville a little later on this afternoon. They may not be getting a lot of snow at the moment, but I'm going to head a little bit past them. So if you see the Weather Network go flying by, that's me. But what I'll do is I'm going to show you part of my presentation here. So I'm just going to figure out how this gets switched. I'm going to screen share, and I think that works. All right, let's see if I can get this to work. All right, play from start. There we go, from start. All right, so hopefully everyone can see me and everyone can hear me.
Yep, perfect.
Great. Okay, so this is basically what I do. So this is a little bit about the craziness of the things I do. So this is I love saying this saying here: if you don't fall down, you're not trying hard enough. And that's actually my dad's saying. And he always told me that. And I've fallen down a lot, like this one. Let me show you this now, just to give you an idea. This is Cape Breton in Nova Scotia. The one guy there in the black outfit, that's our chief meteorologist at the Weather Network. So I got to be really careful with him. Got to make sure that nothing happens to him. I'm in the big bulky coat on the right with the badge on it, and you're going to see what's going to happen in just a second. Hang on. Make this play. There we are.
If you haven't heard winds over 140 kilometers per hour, yeah, this is definitely what we call the hurricane roar, and that's what I'm always looking for. And it's almost subsonic. Have you ever been to a concert?
Yeah. Now, just to give you an idea, for the Canadians, those winds are above 170 kilometers an hour. For the Americans, that's in the about the 120 mile an hour range.
Think we're okay.
And there I come back.
We've lost our mic shield.
I can't tell you how many times I've been told that this is a fake video because why didn't the camera fall over? And what people don't realize is the camera is actually inside the car, shooting across the car, so it's actually stabilized by the car itself. So that's why it didn't go flying, and we just went flying. So my job is to stand outside in the horrible snow and rain and everything else and do crazy stuff. My 2 favorite things are these things: tornadoes and hurricanes. And this is the first tornado. This is in Wyoming, if you can believe it. This tornado here was Goshen County, Wyoming. And what was really, really neat about this tornado, if anybody's ever seen the show Stormchaser on, I believe it's on Discovery Channel, this was the first tornado that they got into. So I actually happen to know Reed, and I've hung out with Reed quite a bit. Ran into Reed quite a bit. Now actually he lives just here close to Ontario, so actually I'll probably end up seeing him quite a bit this year. I got the shot from really, really far away. Reed got the shot from inside that tornado. So I was like, oh, check out the shot I got of this tornado. He's like, yeah, wait till you see my shot. So the other thing I love is this. Now, I can't see you guys. I love to ask this question is, what hurricane am I looking at right there? And because I can't see, I'm just going to answer right away. This is Hurricane Katrina. It was actually my second hurricane that I ever went through. And this was one of the most powerful and extreme weather events I've ever been in. So just an incredible, incredible hurricane. This one was just outside of New Orleans in a town called Gulfport, Mississippi. So we weren't actually in New Orleans for this one. We were just outside. The other thing I do, and this is a bit of what I do, is I explore the planet. So I've been all over the place. That's the Northern Lights in a town called Dawson City, Dawson City, Yukon, excuse me. And those are the Northern Lights directly above me. And this happens like every night in the wintertime up there. It's just absolutely incredible. And the temperature at that point was about minus 20, minus 20 to minus 30 Celsius, not Fahrenheit. But very, very cold. The two temperature scales they're actually the same when you hit minus 42. And when I was out there, and yes, it was minus 42. So it didn't matter which scale I had to use. All right, there's me. This is me on board a ship on the way through the Northwest Passage in the Arctic. So just a place where very few people have actually been through, and I got a chance to go through it. Absolutely amazing. But it was in the summertime. So you're seeing me. I'm wearing a coat there. This is the middle of August. So you can imagine how hot it is everywhere else. And up there, I still had to wear a winter coat. This is Hurricane Sandy. So this is one of the last shots everybody saw of the boardwalk in Rockaway Beach in New York City area. And that whole boardwalk was completely destroyed about 2 hours after I took this shot. And you can see I'm actually wearing a wetsuit because so much rain falls during the hurricanes. I don't even bother trying to keep a raincoat on. I just put on a wetsuit and just stay soaked the entire time. This is a very special place. That's a humpback whale checking us out. I'm in the Antarctic. So this is way down in Antarctica. I was so close to that whale. I can tell you, whale breath stinks. It smells absolutely awful. But it's just an amazing place to be. And this, again, is another shot of the Arctic in the middle of the winter. So temperatures were absolutely freezing cold. Now, those trees right there, those trees are maybe 10 feet tall at the most. Absolute most are 10 feet tall. But they might be as much as 100 years old. They grow very, very slowly up in the Arctic. But they're very small trees, but they're very, very old. The latest place I've gotten to explore, which is absolutely amazing, was the volcano called Nyiragongo in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which is on the border of Rwanda. And this was one of these volcanoes that's potentially one of the most dangerous in the world. There's a very large city called Goma at the base of the volcano. And this volcano has actually erupted and dumped in a huge amount of lava into the city many years ago. It's not erupting all the time, like it's not pouring lava down the sides, but it is in a constant state of eruption. So our goal in this expedition to Nyiragongo was to climb into the volcano, take ropes, rappel all the way down, and to get from the top to the bottom was, for the Canadians, about half a kilometer straight down. And for the Americans, that's about a quarter of a mile straight down into this volcano. So that's how far we had to rappel down. And the goal was to stand right beside that lava lake and take measurements, get scientific readings, and maybe even collect some lava samples from the edge of the lake. And we got very, very close. My buddy was actually able to make it all the way down. I wasn't actually able to make it to the final stage, to the very end, just because the last pitch, the last little bit of climb was just too hard for me because I hadn't been fully trained. But I did get really close. This is the lava lake at night from the top of the edge of the volcano. And just to give you an idea, that lava right there, that lava is 1,200 degrees Celsius. So absolutely, if you fell into it, you'd make a loud poof noise and there'd be nothing left of you but a little bits of carbon and some steam. So you definitely do not want to fall into that. Just to give you an idea, your oven, the highest temperature your oven can go is around 500 degrees Celsius. That's about, or 500 degrees Fahrenheit. This is well above that. Okay, this is my show. This is the show I have, Dangerous Waters. This is or one of the one shows. This is the one that actually played last night. So if anybody's watching the Weather Network in Canada, you actually would have seen this last night. And this plays on the Weather Network. We do have some stuff online. If you want to check out online, you can actually go to theweathernetwork.com or theweathernetwork.ca, and you can check out a few of the shows on there. Just search for Storm Hunters and you'll be able to find it. Not full shows are out there yet for the American audience, but we will have it out very soon. And then I'm just going to show you a little bit of one of the shows. Now, just to give you an idea, hopefully you guys will be able to hear this, and I'm just going to talk over Dan for a second. This is my friend Dan Shaw, and we are in El Reno, Oklahoma, and we're chasing what turned out to be one of the largest tornado ever recorded.
Oh, it's a tornado. Got a huge violent tornado right now approaching Union City, south of El Reno, Oklahoma. We're in through about 200 yards. Never been through anything like this before. My light flashed before my eyes. It is still on the ground. It's still big.
Tornadoes coming at you and you need to flee, and everyone is stuck on these roads. Really, your exit strategy is gone now, and you're stuck in traffic with very dangerous storm roads. That tornado would be right there. That's correct. Okay, it's still on the ground.
You're hearing my my co-host Jacqueline Whittle.
This is a little scary.
She was with me, and we were just the two of us alone in the car, and we were chasing this thing, and we were nervous.
Power flash behind us. Power flash in the cards for a second, okay?
Probably the most unsettling moment at the time was, are our friends dead or not?
Lost communication. Another friend of mine. And for a while, we thought.
Yeah, just to give you a quick idea, my friend Dan has cameras that point out the front of his car, but also out the back. So you're going to get both views in just a second.
Okay, is it 100% confirmation visual or random together? It's on my iPhone. It is random. So I'm just trying to get clear this this area. We were in a safe position. And it's one control. This is it. This is the one. I'd be too far to do a tornado. Location at 11 is unknown.
So right now you're looking actually out the back of his car towards the 18-wheeler that's coming right at him. And the tornado hits them right here.
Tornado right now approaching Union City, south of El Reno, Oklahoma. We may actually quickly try to get our cars to the south of this. That would be the safest place to do that. I think we have to go down in order to stay ahead of this and not get run over by it.
Now, this is Mike Bettis from the Weather Channel. So some of you guys, the Americans, you'll know exactly the Weather Channel. And Mike is attempting to flee away from the tornado, not realizing that he's driving straight into it. And there it is, right to the edge. That's the edge of the tornado. You're actually seeing what we call suction vortices. These are mini tornadoes that go around the wall of the tornado, and the winds in there are absolutely incredible, and they get caught by it right in just a second. Hopefully you guys can see this. So the camera falls out of the car and keeps filming as the car gets rolled over and over in the field.
Different Weather Channel meteorologist Mike Bettis all tried unsuccessfully to run away from a tornado. stopped recording. Watch it here, as you can actually see Dennis's truck rolling over and over in the field. And there was a moment where we were kind of weightless, and I knew we were in the air, and it felt like forever. And I had this moment where I truly felt like maybe I was going to heaven.
So that's just part of one of the shows, and I was going to take it ahead. And this is the question I always get: why do you do this? Are you crazy? And one of the reasons I give for it is I get pictures like this. What you're seeing is a supercell thunderstorm, and I believe this was Oklahoma actually, and you can sort of see the lightning flashing through the storm. You can see the mammatus clouds. And that sort of twisty thing you're seeing right in the middle, that's the main core of the storm. So underneath that part right there, that's where the tornado would be. Now, this one wasn't producing a tornado, but boy, was it ever amazing. This is at night. It was just an amazing, amazing storm. The other one I get is this. I get pictures like this. Now, I love this shot. This is taken in Canada in a place called Lake St. Clair. And we get some amazing storms like this. And this was so big, I had to actually stitch a bunch of pictures together to actually be able to see this whole, what we call shelf cloud. And these actually occur all over the place, down the States as well. But these ones aren't as dangerous as the last shot you saw. These ones tend not to produce tornadoes. They produce some high winds, lots of rain, maybe some small hail, but not the really destructive winds of a tornado. So the other question I've got, of course, is how do you chase a thunderstorm? How do you go and find these things? And what do you do with it once you've caught it? Well, I love showing this shot because this is one thing we said that used to never happen, and nowadays, unfortunately, a lot of people are getting in front of these tornadoes to get the pictures, and so people are getting chased more and more, including myself. I have absolutely been chased maybe and been in the wrong position on these storms. All right, so this one is from Ada, Oklahoma, and this is one of the most beautiful tornadoes I've had in a very, very long time. Whoop, something happened there. Let's try that again.
On the ground, yeah. There it is.
So there you go. Now, a lot of people ask me, how far away is that tornado? Is it really close? It's about a quarter mile away, or about a half a kilometer away from us. So we're actually in a pretty safe spot because it's not coming directly towards us. It's actually going slightly to the right. If you're looking at it, it's sort of moving parallel to us. If it was coming right at us, yeah, I'd be a lot more nervous, but it's not. It's moving just off to the right. And it was really, really hard to hold this thing steady as this thing sort of just cut right across the thing. This one did no damage, didn't hurt anybody. It was like sort of the perfect tornado. Now, what's kind of funny about this, Jacqueline and I always laugh about this. Jacqueline and I hadn't met each other. My co-host, Jacqueline and I, had not met each other at all. And yet, we were both on this tornado. We were actually, she was chasing this tornado. This is her first storm chase ever. And she caught this tornado. What's really even funnier is you'll actually see her in a second. She's just in front of me. If you look to see that one person in the shot right there, that's Jacqueline. That's my co-host. Hopefully you can see my arrow, but right there, that's my co-host, Jacqueline, who I had no idea who she was. And it turned out that I actually filmed her before we ever met. All right, so where does this all occur? So where do I go? Where do I go for chasing storms? Well, you can sort of see all over the world. I can go all over the place. Australia has them. Hopefully you can see my mouse thing. Australia's got them. Japan has them. Bangladesh has a tornado alley. South Africa has a tornado alley. England has a tornado alley. It's amazing. It's actually very small and polite tornadoes, but they're there. but the place that everybody goes, and the one place in the world that has more tornadoes and thunderstorms than anywhere else is the United States. And this is a map of Tornado Alley. So you'll actually see, again, hopefully you can see it, Oklahoma, right down there, right just north of Texas. This is Texas right here. And then just north of that is Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, and North Dakota. And then this little line right here, there's a country north of that that sometimes the United States forgets, and that's Canada. We actually are way up there. So the actual Tornado Alley doesn't just stop right here at the border. It continues going north, and I'll show you that in just a second. But the one spot, the one place in the world that has more tornadoes than anywhere else, right here in Oklahoma, and right in the middle of that is Oklahoma City. And beside Oklahoma City is a town called, or a city called Moore. Moore has the unfortunate distinction of being hit by extremely powerful tornadoes many years, for over a couple of years, and these tornadoes have followed very close to the same path. So Moore's been hit by a couple of very, very strong ones. I'm going to show you some pictures in a little while and tell you a couple of quick stories about some of the people we met after being hit. Now, where does this all come from? This is the cool part of this. North America is as a continent, perfect for producing tornadoes, and here's why. Just south of the United States is the Gulf of Mexico, and if everybody knows, the Gulf of Mexico, very, very warm, very, very warm waters. It's always hot down there. You're thinking about Florida. It's nice to go there almost year-round because it's always hot there. Well, that area is the perfect fuel for thunderstorms, and the way the winds blow across North America is it actually blows all that hot, moist air up into the United States and eventually up to Canada, especially in the springtime every single year. The same time, we've got a country north of the United States, Canada, and that produces a lot of cold air. So put those two together, especially when you're talking about the spring, that warm air and cold air will clash right in when we get really early in the spring. Those clashes will happen right along the coast area. So that's why you sometimes hear about tornadoes and some very significant tornado outbreaks in Alabama, Louisiana, and Missouri, or excuse me, Mississippi. You'll hear about some serious ones, and as we get further into the spring, say into May, that whole thing begins to move north up into Oklahoma and Texas and Nebraska and Kansas, and then as we get closer to the summertime, it continues to move north. Eventually, by July and August, that clash of air masses happens in Canada. So we actually have a tornado alley of our own. In fact, we have two in Canada, which is very, kind of interesting. We have now. The Canadians, you guys may know this. For the Americans, these provinces here, they're this. I don't know, hopefully you can see my my arrow here. That's Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. These are prairie provinces. So the area out here is very similar to Kansas and Oklahoma and Texas, and it's very flat, not a lot of trees, so you can actually see pretty well. What is neat, though, is you sort of see this the top of where these tornadoes have occurred. North of that, there's probably lots and lots of tornadoes up there, but nobody lives up there, so not a lot of them have been reported. But as people begin to move north more and more, you'll probably see more and more tornadoes beginning to get reported. The furthest north, the furthest tornado we've ever heard of being reported, I don't know if you can see this, way up north, up here in Inuvik, and this is way, 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 way north. In fact, it's north of the Arctic Circle. That's how far north this tornado was reported, and it was a real one. It wasn't somebody just faking it. It was a real tornado right outside the town of Inuvik. The other one we have, the other tornado alley we have, is in Southern Ontario. So anybody from Southern Ontario, you guys, we are in a tornado alley here. Now, to give you an idea how many we see in Canada every year, or in Ontario every year, we see about 8 to 12 tornadoes every single year in Canada. But if we jump back to the United States here, they see anywhere between 800 and 1,000 tornadoes every single year across the United States. And almost every state in the States has seen a tornado. In fact, there was a tornado in Oregon a couple of weeks ago with one of these big Pacific storms that came in. A water spout came on shore as a full tornado and did some damage, ripped some power poles down, and I believe damaged a shed. But it was definitely a tornado in the Pacific Northwest. That is just not a place you associate with tornadoes. Now, I'm going to show you Now the little black dot right there, you can sort of see right there, that's Canada's only F5 tornado. Now we changed the scale up slightly. It's now what we call the EF scale. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. But that is our only, that's the strongest tornado we've ever seen. And I actually happen to have some video of it, which I will show you in just a little bit. This is a great shot. Two tornadoes two storms right here. One is really dangerous. The other one, not so much. The one that looks like it's spinning, that's exactly what it's doing. This is what we call a supercell thunderstorm. And supercells just don't mean it's like a big thunderstorm. We actually have to classify this in a different way. What's happening is the storm is spinning. As soon as it spins, meteorologists get to classify it as a supercell thunderstorm. And yeah, this is why we get paid the big bucks, is, you know, we get to classify and name all these things. Now, meteorologists don't get paid much, you know, if this is the way it works. The other one you see there, this is what we call a linear storm, or a very straight line storm. It's not going to produce a tornado. It may produce some high winds and maybe some small hail, and maybe once in a while it'll produce something called a landspout. But these are very weak tornadoes that don't do nearly the kind of damage that you see from the other one, from that rapidly spinning storm. But these ones will all produce some serious stuff. That's giant hail. In fact, that's not even the biggest hail I've seen. The biggest hail I've ever seen was the size of softballs. And will that stuff kill you? Oh, yes, it will. You have to be very, very careful when you're out chasing. And you've got softball-sized hail. You stay inside your car even as the hail completely wrecks the car. And I've been through one golf ball to baseball size hail barrage, and we dented the absolute heck out of the Weather Network car. And my co-host Jacqueline, she was very worried. She thought our boss was going to kill us. And I called up our boss, told him what happened. And he said, "Were you filming?" And I said, "Yes, we were." He said, "Don't worry about it." It was great. This is my friend's car after it got hit with a barrage of softball-sized hail. You can see the gigantic dents in the car, as well as her windshield was smashed out. The top was wrecked. Poor Chris. This is her personal vehicle, and this is the second hail barrage she's been in. The other one absolutely wrecked her car to another wreckage of a car, but not with giant dents like that. In fact, she got into a lot of fairly small hail, but it was big enough to dent her car, so the entire side of her car looked like a golf ball. It was great. We made fun of her for years for that one. But this is the one. So one thing is, this one, that one, hail definitely can injure or kill you, but you'll feel it. This stuff will definitely injure you or kill you, and you won't ever feel it. This is one of the most dangerous types of, the most dangerous part of the storm for me, lightning. Lightning can kill very quickly and very easily, so you have to be very, very, very careful with this. These shots actually are taken over Lake Ontario, taken with a remote camera, so I'm inside the car shooting these with my camera set outside the car, so I was actually quite safe. And the big question is, everyone always asks me, are you safe inside your car? Now, I can't see you guys, and I always like to ask the classes about this. Everyone sticks up their hand and says, yes, you're safe inside the car, or no, you're not safe inside the car. I'm going to give you the answer on this one. Yes, you're absolutely safe inside the car, and no, it's not the rubber tires. That's actually a really common myth. What it actually is something we call the Faraday cage effect. And what that means is when the electricity hits your car, it actually wants to travel around the outside of your car and ground in it. So as long as you're not licking the inside of your car or have your windows down and your feet out, you'll be just fine inside your car. For lightning, other stuff, maybe not so much. The best place you can be, though, for lightning is to be inside, indoors. Doors closed, stay away from the windows when one of these storms comes by, and you will be completely safe. This is one of my favorite shots. This is was taken actually not too far from a city called London in Ontario, and this was very, very close, very, very, very loud. And I had to be very, very careful with this one. But again, remote camera, I'm inside the car, shooting outside the car. It's a great way to get all kinds of lightning shots. This is my newest lightning shot, and this was not taken in North America. This is Lake Kivu outside the city of Goma in the Democratic Republic of Congo in Africa. And they have a lot of thunderstorms. In fact, Africa has more lightning than any other place on the planet. There's a specific spot in the mountains in and around the Democratic Republic of Congo that has more lightning than any other place on the planet. And that same place is also where hurricanes start. I'll hopefully get into that. I don't know if we're going to get all the way to hurricanes, but I will try. But that is actually where this is the whole area where hurricanes start out when they're coming into the Atlantic. All right, this is the one everyone came to see, though, right? Everyone wants to see tornadoes. This is my first tornado in a town called Campbellville in southern Ontario. So my first tornado was actually here in Canada. It was rated as an EF0. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, this is what I mean by it. The Fujita scale. Now, when we rate tornadoes, we don't rate them on wind speed. In fact, we rate them on the damage that they do. So we rate the scale run.
Mark, I don't know if you can hear us, but you cut out there. Your volume cut out. So let me send him a quick message, guys, and we'll see if he's in or if something happened. And we'll try and get him back in soon. But the guy loves storms. You can clearly tell. I mean, I've never seen someone who likes lightning and tornadoes and giant hail barrages that destroy cars more than Mark. So Mark disappeared. He's back. Hi, Mark.
Yep.
You're back.
Oh, what's going on? You
disappeared, and then you came back.
How long did I disappear for?
You had just started tornadoes, and then all volume cut out.
Oh, dear. Okay. I will just jump back. I'm glad. I was worried that I had lost a whole bunch of you guys, or that you'd lost me for half an hour.
We're still here. Just a quick question. Okay, I know you do need to go cover the snow up north, and it's 1:27, so I don't know if you want to continue or you want to take questions now. It's entirely up to you.
Let me just finish the Fujita scale stuff, and then I'll jump into some questions. How's that?
Sounds great.
Okay, I'll make this really quick so if you guys can hear me again. I'm going to run through this. This is EF1 damage. Now, this is how we...
Sorry, Mark, your screen isn't shared, so you've got to show us the thing if you want to tell. Sorry.
Hold on. Let me just try that again. Share, screen share, share. You see me?
Perfect.
Okay, let me try that again. Slideshow, play from current slide. Can you guys see me?
Perfect, yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so we're going to jump into, I'm going to make this real quick. The Fujita scale. This is how we rate tornadoes. Now, we don't rate tornadoes on wind speed. We actually rate them on damage. So what we do is we actually take a look at what the tornado has done, and we jump into basically out into the damage path itself, figure out what it's done, because we can't really rate, we can't know how fast these tornadoes are going just by looking at them. In fact, some of the largest tornadoes ever recorded had very low wind speeds, and sometimes they have very high wind speeds. So we have to take a look at the damage they do. Now, I love to show this one. This is EF1. Now, this is a bit of a cheat shot, so nobody tell you anything. This is Hurricane Katrina, actually. This is the damage it did to a very well-constructed building. But it pretty much gives you what an EF1 will do. Now, this is EF2. So we're beginning to see a little bit of damage. Now, this one is actually from Moore, Oklahoma. And in Moore, Oklahoma, the tornado was actually rated as an EF5. But it doesn't mean that the tornado is doing EF5 damage everywhere all at once. They can actually change in size and shape, of course, but they can also change in the wind speeds. So sometimes the way we work, or the way we do it, is we look at the highest amount of damage, the highest rating that we can get, and we rate the tornado that way. So it can also produce anywhere from 0 to 5. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about when we get to EF5. This is EF3 damage. The roof is removed. Cars have been flung around a little bit, but they haven't moved too far, but a lot of damage. Now we get up into the EF4. This is EF4 damage. That means that, see that car there? That was flung there from a fairly far distance. That's a house you're seeing, all kinds of bits and pieces scattered everywhere. In fact, the tornado looks like it dropped the house into a wood chipper. But this is EF4 damage as well. This is actually, and I'm going to tell the story real quick. This is a daycare, as well as a nail salon and a karate studio. There were 20 children in that daycare. And when Jacqueline and I arrived on site, it was about 4 or 5 hours after the storm had passed. And we found out that this was a daycare by the father of one of the girls who was in the daycare. And in fact, the father was, the daughter, excuse me, was actually one of the people that worked at the daycare. And they had a choice to make when they saw the tornado coming towards them. They said, do we stay right here and probably die, or do we run away and leave our kids to potentially get killed or injured? And they made the choice to stay right where they were and try and save as many kids as they could. And so what they did is they grabbed all the kids, they ran them into the back of the building, threw them down on the floor. They grabbed the 7-month-old infant that they had, strapped her into her car seat, brought her into the bathroom, threw their sleeping mats on top of them, then threw their own bodies on top of them. And the tornado came in the front door. The entire building collapsed down on top of them. And when we got a chance to talk with the one girl that decided to stay and save her kids, she had about 27 stitches in her back. Because what happened was the collapse of the building saved their lives because they weren't being hit by the debris. In fact, they were so covered with the debris of the house or with the debris of the place there that they were protected almost as if they had armor on. So all the debris, which is actually what does the most damage to people, it was all bouncing off the debris that was already on top of them, so it wasn't hitting them. Now, the one girl was hit a few times, so she had some significant injuries to her back, but every single one of them survived. All the kids survived with no injuries at all because they got into this one safe place and where they had, which was the smallest room in the house or the smallest room in the building, in the bathroom, and covered their heads and basically got themselves into a place where the debris wasn't hitting them. Quite a story. This is EF5 damage. What you're seeing, if you can see the person standing there, right beyond him. See the brown patch? That was a field. That was a field. The tornado was so strong, it tore the grass out of the ground. And that's what we call EF5 damage. When you get hit by EF5, the damage is complete. It's total. There's nothing left. That's why we will never see an EF6. We can never see an EF6 tornado simply because that cannot happen. You can't get anything worse than complete and total destruction. Now, what I'm going to do, guys, oh, there's one last shot here. This is their car. That's the daycare's car. And that one ended up behind the whole daycare, and basically in the ground there, and there wasn't much left at all. All right, this is an EF5 tornado. This is Canada's only EF5 tornado. Now I'm going to pause it right there, take it back just a little bit, just to give you guys an idea. Okay, hopefully you can see, but if you can see this on my, hopefully you can see my mouse, that is a house. And you're about to see a minivan go flying. There it goes. There goes the minivan right there. Hopefully you guys can see my little mouse there. So that is Canada's only EF5 tornado in a place called Ely, Manitoba. Nobody hurt, nobody killed in this one at all because what it went through was an area, a subdivision that was just being built. And it picked up the whole house, spun it around itself. But everybody had evacuated because the tornado was moving extremely slowly. Now I'm going to jump out just for a second. I'm going to show you guys a real quick shot. And because I got to show this one. Like, this is just one I have to show. And hopefully it doesn't. Oh, there we go. Hang on. Open with VLC. Okay. This is 2005 in a place called Attica, Kansas.
From my vantage point here, there is serious rotation here. I think I see a funnel. I think. And it's right to our south. Yeah, debris on the ground, tornado.
Now that is a tornado. Hopefully, I don't know if you guys can hear me or not, but that is a full tornado right there.
So, can I ask a question if you've ever been to St. She needs some milk. I wasn't say that. She needs milk.
I'll do it so I can't really hear anymore.
Can I ask where he's from?
No, sir. No, you won't. For what?
Can I ask where he's from?
Whenever you guys get ready to go, we'll go.
Yes, it is. Look.
tornado crossing the road right in front of us.
Hey, bless him.
That's not good. Oh my God. Yes, I did. What happened there? The whole house came apart. That house is completely gone.
All right, there you go, guys.
Awesome, Mark.
Let me just switch back so you guys can see me. Wait for it. Wait, there we are.
There you are.
All right.
Now tell us, do you like storms? All right.
I've been through a few of them.
Yeah, that was amazing. Thank you. I love the music in the last one too.
Yeah, I
So
know.
I know you got to go up north to cover snow. So what we'll do is we'll do one quick question from each class. Miss Riley's class, if you guys have a question, go right ahead.
I'll let the teacher. Oh, okay, there we go.
Have you ever been inside the eye of a hurricane?
Have I ever been inside the eye of a hurricane? Absolutely, a couple of them actually. I went through the eye of the hurricane in a city called Galveston, Texas, right on the Texas shoreline with the Gulf of Mexico. And when it came across me, the winds were right on the eye wall. It's the strongest part of the hurricane, and the winds were running at about 100 miles an hour. And then all of a sudden, it just went completely silent. It just everything. The wind stopped, and it was just that was it. It was just quiet for about half an hour to 45 minutes, and then the other side of the eye wall hit us, and the winds went from 0 to almost about 75 miles an hour in about 30 seconds. But the most incredible thing is the winds were going the opposite direction to what they were earlier. So yes, right to the eye of a hurricane.
Cool. All right, so we'll go to Mr. Vandeshoot's class.
Have you ever gotten hurt?
Could you ask it one more time?
There, you with us?
We can hear you.
Okay.
Okay. Have you ever gotten hurt in a serious tornado?
Have I ever gotten hurt chasing? No, I've never been hurt as doing hurricanes or tornadoes. But, and I have to say this, I did break my foot when I was filming giant waves on Lake Erie. I actually got knocked over, and I broke a bone in my foot. And I got to hobble around York University while going to classes for about 6 weeks. That was not fun.
All right. So I'm not laughing at you. It's just
Oh, I would. It was funny.
No getting sucked into the tornado, though.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to Miss Hall's class. Oh, they disappeared.
Yeah, I'm not hearing them.
No. So, Miss Hall's class, we'll come back to you guys in a second. Something's a little off, and we'll try in 2 seconds. For now, we'll go to Miss McLernan's class, who's in Orangeville, so they might see you in a minute.
Hey, we're ready.
Go right ahead, guys.
Have you ever worked with a man named Kirk McDonald?
Kirk McDonald, yes. Yes, I have. I know him well.
Yeah, he's sort of like a family friend. He works around my town, and he storm chasing sometimes. So.
Yes, no, I have done a bunch of stuff with Kirk. I know him very, very well. He's actually the brother of one of the people on air here at the Weather Network.
Small world, I love it. All right. We'll go back to Mrs. Hall's class, see if you guys can get a question in.
How many storms have you been in?
How many storms have I been in? Wow. You know what? I've lost track a long, long time ago. But I can tell you how many hurricanes I've been in. I've been in how many hurricanes? 16 hurricanes with Hurricane Matthew this year. That was sort of my last hurricane. So 16 of them, including Katrina, Ike, Rita, Sandy. So, but the number of Number of thunderstorms, I have no idea. I've actually lost track of even the tornadoes. I've been in some of the 40 to 50 number of tornadoes is the number I've seen, including one this year in Windsor, which I wasn't expecting at all. And it popped up basically right in front of me, and I got to chase it through Windsor as it was doing damage. That was a little scary.
But right place, right time. That's awesome.
I was not chasing that day. I was doing something completely different and ended up chasing this tornado right through Windsor. It was weird.
Cool. All right, so I know you got to go, so what we'll do is what we do at the end of every hangout is let the classes all yell at once and say thank you. So if you guys want to say a big thanks to Mark for being here today, right ahead. Awesome. So thank you all the class for being with us here today.
Thank you, guys.
We hope to have you all exploring by the seat of your pants again soon. Thanks so much, Mark, and go ahead to Orangeville and Shelburne.
I'm just looking at the radar right now. Off I go. I have to go chase that right there. So
Awesome. Have a nice day, everyone.
Thanks, guys.